we've made history in terms of the highest court in Queensland coming out to an Aboriginal or an Islander community to sit in our public hall and listen to us. They're saying the land belongs to Queensland, that they are the owners.
The Mabo decision of 1992 takes its name from the High Court case, led by Eddie Koiki Mabo. This led to the overturning of the legal concept of terra nullius, which means land belonging to no one. This key moment in 1992 had many debates leading up to it and since, which artists have responded to.
My mother's parents, my grandfather was a Bidjara man and my grandmother was a Gungaloo woman. My father's a non-Aboriginal man and a man of agricultural background and a real passion for trees as plants and timber as a media, and this is of great importance to who I am these days. The art practice and our cultural selves in central Queensland and where we are is inseparable.
With this work, he was using a technique which involves him having to blow the ochre onto the canvas. The shape that's emerged looked like the geographic location in the Mackay region of Queensland, which was a site of a massacre of a large group of people fleeing a rifle assault of Queensland Native Police. The group leapt to their deaths from the cliff edge of Mount Mandarina. You marvel at the landscape and the fact that country has been applied directly onto the canvas. Benita Eli was part of a community of artists in 1970s Australia interrogating political and social concerns of the time. Jabiluka uranium dioxide. It's named after a uranium mine which was proposed for the Jabiluka area. At the time that Benita Eli created this performance, the Mirarr people were beginning decades of resistance against mining companies. There are two men painting this white line. She's pointing out the way in which this line, this linear thought, this thing that's meant to represent masculinity and the patriarchy, is destroying this symbol that's relating to the feminine principle. On sacred land was created during the lead up to the bicentenary of Australia's colonisation in 1988. The film creates a complicated assemblage of found video material, photographs, drawings, history painting depicting the landing of Captain Cook at Botany Bay, and scenes filmed by John Hughes. The title refers to sacred Aboriginal sites, which are then used and exploited for financial reasons by white Australians.
Kare bolet me mane bolge new man geringe ga ime new generation wat ngai ngagar me ngai pogen ngagar me man geringe la man gare
John Morangel paints using earth pigments on stringy bark. He's particularly well known for his mastery of raak, a very intricate cross-hatching style. This bark painting breathes. It moves over time. Bulawana female ancestor pinpoints a particular moment in Australian art history when contemporary Aboriginal artists gained national and international recognition. Emily Kamingware was an elder of her community. She describes her paintings as being everything: trees, animals, grasses. It may seem almost abstract to us, but actually they are about this extremely rich and complicated relationship that connects country, ceremony, painting. So when you're seeing the sides of the canvas and those lines, you're seeing where grass shoots may be coming up and the fertility of the country. In Untitled 1990, these lines could be looked at almost like aerial maps, maybe rivers, maybe pathways.
Body. 4 ribs were broken.
Tall Man is showing a particular incident in Palm Island in 2004. The community rioted against the death of a local man named Morangi Dumaji, and he died in police custody.
Wait up, mate, wait up.
There's a particular figure that you see in the video projection. His name is Les Wotton. He won a lawsuit which concluded that the police had committed unlawful acts. The artwork is a homage to Wotton for his role in the riots. This is seen in the title of the work, Tall Man, an Aboriginal term for a boogeyman or a spirit who elicits truth from wrongdoers.
I'm not going to accept it. And I know a lot of you other people don't. So let's do something more than this.
The deaths in custody of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders are hugely disproportionate to the rest of the community. Whilst it was created in 2010 in Palm Island, Tall Man reflects many of these larger issues that are happening across Australia.
People don't know their rights in the court system or when they are brought to the courts. And they fear this. Their fear is our fear. That's what's happening here today.
Gordon Bennett didn't know he was of Aboriginal descent until he was a teenager. His mother was one of many children who was removed from her Aboriginal family and put into white institutions as part of what's now referred to as the stolen generations. He was particularly interested in the way in which colonial history was told and retold through the creation of historic paintings that were then replicated in print and etchings. His work, Possession Island Abstraction, is a copy of an artwork that's now lost. He exposes the moment when Captain Cook arrived on Possession Island. In the original work, there is a black figure who's fictionalised as serving the colonisers drinks. Gordon Bennett has painted over this figure in red, black and yellow the colours of the Aboriginal flag. It seems as if he's asserting that these footprints have always been there and that they have existed for many generations.
must think I have something to say, and I can't say it in painting because I cannot paint and I cannot draw. What I think I can do, though, is put an image together. I always think of the frame. I always think like that. I see things like that.
During the stolen generations, children who were removed from their Aboriginal communities were often placed into Christian missions. Tracy Moffat used the representation of nuns as a way of hinting at that. It's never just a simple concept of violence and desolation. Moffat purposely inserts these moments of innocence and kindness.
I'm really interested in creating sort of moments of push and pull in paintings and having different registers of imagery with different surface qualities. So one thing might be compositionally in the foreground, but materially might be being subsumed by what's behind it.
Seat of Power uses unofficial histories as recorded by political cartoons and satire. The chair is a replica of the Speaker's chair at the Parliament of Westminster, and it is a continued symbol of the historical tie between British Empire and its colony. When the gift of the Speaker's chair was made, Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders did not have the right to vote and had no autonomous representation. Johnson's painting highlights this discrimination.
All Queensland Aboriginal people were documented, so we've got masses of papers in the archives which we can, as artists, I think, it's a great resource, but it's also a heavy burden to sort of like read how my grandmother and her mother were treated.
The etchings in a preponderance of Aboriginal blood are official documents which classify whether or not someone was entitled to vote according to whether both of their parents were Aboriginal or not, and show the way in which discrimination was officially recorded.
After looking at this, I thought I need to see my own family's files, and I was the first person from my direct family to see them. As soon as you start channeling who you are into your artwork, you will have more inner strength and be able to deal with adversity.